What's up, everybody? It's Kenya, and welcome to Outer Space. It's such a late video, such a late hour to do a video, I know, but I had some inspiration, so I thought I would do one. So I was just working out real hard for the past 2 hours, and afterwards I had dinner with a friend, and our conversation kind of made me think about something. So I decided I wanted to talk about it, and the issue was kind of twofold, so I'll kind of discuss it that way. But the first thing that it made me think about is how conditioned we are as human beings to keep it real and to be honest, even when those words are not kind. And I'm definitely not the kind of person that's like, oh, don't tell the truth to people and don't do that. But I'm also not a tough love person. I think tough love isn't really effective. I think that, tough love can be a form of abuse, and it's just kind of a way to make yourself feel better about being abusive, is saying, well, I love you, and that's why I'm telling you this information in a very harsh and disrespectful way. And just to, be clear, like, my friend wasn't saying anything harsh and disrespectful to anybody, but our conversation just reminded me that individuals commonly go through life and they keep it under the guise of keeping it real and being honest and telling it like it is. They're cold and distant and mean. And it's really not effective. And I had a thought today, and it was thinking about the fact that, people are in our lives for all types of reasons. And I'm a believer in the divine order of life. And I believe that everyone who comes into my life is either there, for me to benefit from them or them to benefit from me. And I recognize that a lot of the individuals that have come into my life recently are in my life to benefit from me in some way. And I wanted to be angry about that, and I wanted to be hurt, and I wanted to feel used, and I wanted to feel like I was being taken advantage of, until I realized that when you have gifts, it's almost your responsibility to share them, and understand that where you are being used in one area, you'll be filled up in another. And that has been my experience. So I have a lot of people in my life who I feel like maybe come to me for advice, but I don't necessarily come to them for advice. But I also have people in my life who I can come to for advice, and I know that they're going to give it to me, and I'm not worried about, the dynamic of our relationship. And so I think that we have to be mindful that just as important as some people are to us, we are that important to other people. And if you have a light, you should let that light shine on whoever is around you, and be cognizant of the fact that every now and again that may not be reciprocated to you from that particular person, right? But there will be people and there will be opportunities that do feed you in that way that you're missing with that one particular person. The second thing that I was thinking about is our desire to change people. Our desire to make people do, act, behave, and speak the way that we feel comfortable with them acting, speaking, and behaving. And realistically, I feel like there's only two ways to change behavior, either by force or by inspiration. And and the thing about changing someone's behavior by force is the fact that you don't have enough force, energy, time, or authority to really change anyone's behavior by force, because you can't be around all the time. You're not always going to be, in that person's space. You're not always going to be there to make decisions for them. And so trying to change someone's behavior by force is really an exercise in futility, if you ask me. So you're only left with inspiration. And what inspiration is allowing other individuals access to your knowledge, to your wisdom, and to your light, such that they may decide to emulate that in their own life. And I want to say access, because it doesn't necessarily mean having a relationship with these people, but just letting them have access to your information. So I think, like, I don't have a relationship with Iyanla Vanzant that is very close. We communicate via email, but I've never laid eyes on her, or Wayne Dyer, or Louise Hay, or any other people who write these wonderful books that I read. But I have access to them via the work that they put out, and I'm grateful that I have access to them. And I'm also grateful that my access to them is not contingent upon my level of spiritual maturity or my level of evolution. Like, I can be in my low evolutionary state and still be inspired by these individuals and still gain so much from them. And so I just want us to be mindful of that. Allowing someone access to your light, allowing someone access to your person is not setting yourself up for failure or setting yourself up to be hurt or used or disrespected. It's just learning that you can really have a great impact on someone's life when you allow them to see the light that you bring to the table, and do so from a space of gratitude. You know, being grateful that you have that information to share, being grateful that you have that energy to share, and being compassionate for the fact that they don't. I find that a lot of times when people do not show up for us the way that we think they should, it's because they can't. It's because they don't have it to give. People are not so selfish, nasty, and disrespectful, and I don't think that's really the case. So I hope that makes sense for you guys today. I know it's kind of random because you weren't at the table, you didn't hear the conversation, and I'm not going to repeat it because I'm not a gossip. But I just want us to be mindful that you have a role in people's life, and people are looking at you and they're paying attention to you and they're listening to you and they're watching you, and you need to be grateful. Not need to be, but you should think about being grateful that you can be a light to someone who may or may not be able to be a light for you. And the way that you pay that forward is just be incredibly grateful for those people who shine their lights on you, even when you may not deserve it per se. Okay, so until next time, post your comments. Bye.